Já estamos a escutar sempre as joias.
The interior of the Antarctic continent. A vast expanse of ice and snow at the bottom of the world. A land 5.5 million miles square that is so forbidding, only a few plants and animals survive. There are no trees. There are no native people. Antarctica is a true no man's land. The continent is so hostile that when humans visit, they bring with them everything necessary to survive. Penguins are a perfect example of an animal species well adapted to the rigors of Antarctic life. During the summer, penguins crowd along the shores, forming breeding colonies that extend for miles and contain millions of birds. As long as they stay ashore, penguins are fairly safe. Because there are no land predators to threaten them, penguins appear fearless and somewhat clumsy on land. But in order to feed, they must enter the sea, where they are swift and agile. As it is with every animal, penguins must search for food while avoiding the predators which are hunting them. Killer whales are impressive predators that cruise along the coast in search of prey. A killer whale will feed on almost anything it can catch, and it can catch just about anything that swims. They've even been known to prey on penguins. But if penguins must keep one eye out for the killer whale, they must also keep an eye out for the leopard seal. With reptilian-like jaws, the leopard seal is the polar penguin's main predator. To avoid a fatal encounter with the leopard seal in the water, penguins travel in groups near the shoreline. Then, if the seal becomes preoccupied with one bird, the others can escape. This strategy makes it possible for the majority of the penguins to survive. Every bit as cunning is the polar skua. Here, a single skua takes advantage of a nearby disturbance, whether planned or unplanned, to make his move on the nesting penguins, as seen by this rare footage. An attack may also come from the air. A school will attempt to isolate a chick from the group and try to snatch it aloft, or team up with another school and bowl the chick over, pecking it to death. Although this may seem cruel to us, it's a fact of life in the wild. The schools help control the penguin population. The leopard seals, the killer whales, like the skuas and all predators, make a vital contribution to maintaining the balance of nature in a system where nearly every animal plays a double role, both as predator and prey. Our involvement with penguins began in 1972, when SeaWorld and Hubbs Marine Research Institute joined forces with the United States Air Force and the National Science Foundation to establish a population of high Antarctic penguins in San Diego. This self-sustaining collection would help scientists to accumulate valuable research on the penguin's courtship, incubation, and chick rearing. Studies that were once near impossible because of climatic conditions and the high cost of working in polar regions. In 1976 and 1977, after a great deal of research and planning, a total of 60 sub-adult emperor penguins were airlifted from McMurdo Sound, Antarctica, to SeaWorld in San Diego. In July of 1980, 7 females each laid a single egg. The females successfully transferred the eggs to their mates. After 64 days of incubation, an emperor chick began to peck its way out of the shell, emerging 3 days later. The first emperor penguin ever to hatch outside of the Antarctic. It was a momentous event, something few humans have ever been privileged to see. Within days, 2 more chicks hatched. These hatchlings represented one of the most exciting ornithological events of recent years. The newly hatched chicks were brooded, each safe on the tops of its parents' feet. The chicks poked their heads out to feed on regurgitated semi-digested fish provided by their parents. At 6 weeks, with a second coat of down to keep them warm, the chicks were well on their way to being ready for life on their own by the following January. If an award were to be given for the most unusual penguins at the Penguin Encounter, the winners would most certainly be the crested penguins, the macaroni and rockhopper. They come from a remote, inaccessible island named Isla Noire, the Black Island, located in one of the most dangerous spots on the planet. In November of 1984, a SeaWorld expedition journeyed to Isla Noire. November is late spring in that region, and the time when eggs are laid.
South Pole Station, SeaWorld Penguin Party, copy, over.
The winds of Isla Noire can quickly reach speeds of 100 miles per hour. So, as the SeaWorld team landed on the island to locate the penguin rookeries, the captain of their research boat made sure his vessel was well secured.
You should pile the rocks like that to make a dance. She'll bring in long sticks. Sizes. Generally, the first egg is the smallest. The second egg will be larger. They'll incubate both eggs, but rarely will they raise both chicks. Time, Stanley. I have time. Trail's getting worse. Trail is becoming non-existent.
Hola, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, matra, mamiante.
Air Force helicopters picked up the exhausted team from Isla Noire and brought them back to the mainland. Specially designed portable incubators kept the eggs safe on the long journey back to SeaWorld. Soon the first eggs began to hatch. Over 300 crested penguins were raised from this exceptional method of collection.
Most penguin species are difficult to acquire and more difficult to transport. However, based on the reproductive success of our penguin program here in Penguin Encounter, it was decided that an attempt would be made to establish penguins via eggs. That is to say, move the eggs from the Antarctic rather than live birds, hatch them here in the encounter, and move them. In fact, the program was so successful that most of the gentoo penguins, chinstrap penguins, rockhopper penguins, and macaroni penguins, such as this one here, were acquired as eggs in the Antarctic and Southern Arctic. George, got that.
In May of 1985, the Penguin Encounter opened here at SeaWorld of Ohio. The exhibit contains 6 different species of penguins and 2 species of shorebirds. The pictures above the exhibit will help you identify these species. Note that our crested penguins, the macaroni and rockhopper, are very young. You must look closely to notice the beginnings of the yellow crest on their heads, which will be fully developed when you return to SeaWorld next year. The exhibit contains 50,000 gallons of water chilled to 45 degrees. The air temperature is 28 degrees. 5,000 pounds of fresh snow is blown in daily. Penguins swim up to 10 miles per hour and can remain underwater 8 to 10 minutes. The bones at the